Gets out of hand in the car.
I didn't do anything.
Okay, you didn't do anything, but she was in your car. She never got out of your car. She never got out of your car. Lee?
We're not saying that you did anything. I'm trying to find her.
So please, do everybody a favor and just tell us.
Where is she?
Heartbreak is something most people go through at least once or twice in their life. Some handle it gracefully, while others struggle to cope. But what happens when someone can't seem to let go, and in a fit of rage, decides to seek revenge and harm the person who broke their heart? This is the unsettling tale of Savahanna Gold and the horrors she went through at the hands of her ex, Lee Rodart. What started as a mysterious disappearance would soon unravel into a complex web of deception, betrayal, and tragic consequences. The disappearance. Savahanna Gold was a young woman working at the Bonefish Grill, a popular restaurant in her town. She had been dating Lee Rodart for about 2 months, and their relationship seemed like any other at first. However, as time passed, things took a dark turn. Their love story, once filled with hope and happiness, was now marred by jealousy, secrets, and substance abuse. Lee and Savahanna split up and ended in a messy trio situation. However, instead of moving on, Lee was still angry and confused. Little did anyone know that Lee's behavior would turn out to be a nightmare for Savahanna. On August 2, 2017, Savahanna's family began to worry when they received text messages from her, claiming she was running away and quitting her job. The messages were full of errors, causing immediate concern on her parents. Something just didn't add up. This triggered a frantic search for Savahanna and a report to the police about her sudden disappearance.
It's been more than 24 hours and still no sign tonight of a missing woman. I'm talking about 21-year-old Savahanna Gold. Her car was found in the Bonefish Grill parking lot on San Jose Boulevard, where she works, with her purse inside.
Nicole Klosky says she made plans with Savahanna 3 days ago.
I didn't hear back from her at all. Time is essential right now.
The investigation. The investigation started right away. However, the police had limited information to work with. They were grasping at straws, trying to piece together the puzzle of what had happened to Savahanna. However, a significant breakthrough came when they obtained CCTV footage from the restaurant's parking lot.
This surveillance video shows Gold getting into Rodarte's car outside the Bonefish Grill before she disappeared. The car is seen shaking and later driving away.
The video reveals Savahanna getting into a silver car in the parking lot. This was the beginning of a sequence of events that would forever change the course of their lives. Right after she got in, the car began to shake violently, with the door being thrust open and pulled shut 3 times. It was obvious that something had gone terribly wrong. Suddenly, everything fell still. The car then sped away from the scene, and Savahanna was never seen again. With this newfound evidence, the focus of the investigation immediately shifted toward the owner of the silver car, Lee Rodart. Lee was not only Savahanna's boyfriend but also her manager at the restaurant. As a result, he became the prime suspect in her disappearance, and the police wasted no time in taking him into custody. Lee, however, was prepared for battle. He believed he could outsmart the detectives and avoid any consequences. In fact, he had a foolproof story that he was convinced would ensure Savahanna would never be found, and he'd go with his hands clean. But what he did not know was that the police weren't just any other people. They deal with such cases every day and are trained to use psychology and behavioral tricks to find out the real story, even when someone doesn't want to tell it. The first step in any interrogation is to make the suspect not feel like he's the suspect. During the initial interrogation, Lee was told by the police that he was brought in for an unimportant traffic warrant. This misinformation was a deliberate tactic designed to make Lee feel at ease and less likely to lawyer up. Unfortunately for Lee, he took the bait. After bringing him in, they left him alone for some time, quietly observing his body language. However, his calm attitude would soon be put to the test as Detective Smith, the same officer who had interviewed him earlier about Savahanna's disappearance, re-entered the room. This time, there was no friendly small talk. This time, the detectives wanted answers, real answers.
I wanted to talk to you about Savahanna. So I just had a couple of things that came up that I wanted to ask you about specifically that didn't seem to line up. So I wanted to come down and talk to you. Okay?
Yeah.
All right?
But Lee still thought he could outsmart everyone. He believed that there was insufficient evidence to tie him to the crime. What he did not know was that the detectives had already seen the CCTV footage, and they had every piece of evidence against him.
So, Savannah, you said that you knew her and you guys had, you knew her from work. I mean, just kind of fill me in with that. How long have you known her?
Like I said, I've known her obviously since she started working there. We started hanging out outside of work. And at the time I had a girlfriend. But we kind of connected, me and Savannah. So we hung out a little bit here.
The questions began with talking about Lee's connection with Savannah. He started sharing a long story about their relationship, talking for more than 5 minutes. He explained how they met and what they did together outside of their job.
Come from, I guess, somewhat similar backgrounds, I guess you should say.
Okay.
She didn't have it the best growing up, neither did I. So we kind of connected and hung out for a little while.
But as Lee kept talking and tried to explain everything in great detail, it became clear that he was feeling anxious.
And then probably a month or so ago, I saw Savannah at work and she looked...
The detectives noticed this, and they also noticed something else. His story didn't quite add up. For instance, he said he hadn't seen Savannah for weeks, but the video evidence showed something different.
And that was the last time that we texted.
Okay.
When was that? Yeah. When was that?
It was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Sometime in July.
Right. I don't want to put words in your mouth, so, I mean, you correct me at
That was
any
the last
time.
time that I texted her.
Yeah, text or a phone call or a messenger
Yeah.
or anything like that. 2 to 3 weeks ago. Yeah, okay.
The detectives decided to confront him with this inconsistency.
And then the last time, when was the last time you saw her?
This is what I was a bit... I didn't tell you the truth when we talked at Bonefish.
Okay.
Last time I saw her was Wednesday afternoon.
Okay.
He confessed to seeing her in the restaurant's parking lot. He said he had confronted her about rumors related to their relationship.
I heard that she has been basically telling a lot of people at work that we hooked up a bunch, like a couple of days before that.
Gotcha.
And she just told people, I guess, that she was out with that work at the restaurant that we were having sex.
Okay.
And, hooking up and stuff like that, and that I was her boyfriend and this and that.
But then he claimed that the last time he saw her, she had left in a green truck.
I met her in the parking lot at Bonefish.
When was this?
Wednesday afternoon.
Okay. Well, do you know what time or about?
It was about 5:30.
Okay.
I wouldn't say she was walking along the edge of the plaza, but she was walking maybe towards this way.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say an older model Ford pickup, green.
Okay.
What Lee didn't realize was that the CCTV footage had already revealed that Savannah had never left the parking lot. Instead, she had entered his car and never got out. But Lee, trying to be oversmart, continued to fabricate details about the green truck, describing the driver as wearing a baseball cap.
So could you see who the person in the truck was?
The truck had fairly tinted windows. I saw a baseball cap.
Yeah.
Can you see the lies through his words? It was clear that he was desperately trying to distance himself from the crime scene.
See a guy, girl, white, black?
I couldn't really tell if it was a guy or a girl.
Okay.
I just remember seeing the truck drive and her get in.
Yeah.
The detectives were closing in, and they decided to take things up a notch.
Why didn't you mention this before, since we've been looking for this girl? I mean, don't you think that information
it
is important?
definitely does. And I regret obviously not saying anything. Just, I freaked out, to be honest with you. I mean,
This girl's missing?
yes.
Okay. But she's been missing. I mean, you knew from in essence, from day one that she's missing. And
They asked Lee about injuries on his hands. Lee, who was trying to hold his composure, showed the detectives wounds on his hands and arms. These wounds were self-inflicted, and his explanations were inconsistent and unconvincing.
Because now,
because we're going to find out stuff.
Yeah, we could have gotten 3 days ahead for this.
Obviously, now it looks...
So you're saying that there's a green... What kind of truck was it?
It looked like a Ford, like a mid-90s.
Well, the good thing about that is we should be able to verify all of that, all of those kind of things. That won't be a problem at all.
With this comment by the investigator, the tension in the room was palpable, and Lee's anxiety became more prominent. He started getting anxious as he fidgeted and exhibited signs of nervousness. All his lies were falling apart, and he seemed on the verge of breaking down.
We talked Thursday.
Okay.
And
Not last night after
no,
we talked. Or this
we talked Thursday.
Okay.
I was scared to call that night.
But did you ever call the hotline?
No.
Under the relentless questioning, Lee's resistance started to crack.
So where's Savahanna right now?
I don't know.
Where would I find her?
I don't know.
That's my prime objective is to find her.
Definitely.
I think time's running out on her.
The investigators now came to the most important part.
The facts here. I want to find this girl. I need to find her.
I understand.
And here's a couple reasons I need to find her. One is I'm hoping that she's still alive. And if she's not alive, then I think she and her family are due that knowledge. I think I think they need some closure.
But Lee was still denying any involvement. However, it was time to tell him the truth.
I told you the last time I saw her.
But that's not true because we have proof. We have proof. And that's why we're sitting here, Lee. At this point,
Gets out of hand in the car.
I didn't do anything.
Okay, you didn't do
Okay,
anything, but she was in your car. She never got out of your car. She never got out of your car, Lee.
We're not saying that you did anything. I'm trying to find her.
So please, do everybody a favor and just tell us.
Where is she?
Lee was still trying hard to avoid the consequences, but it was too late.
How do you know? How do you think I know this information, Lee? I wasn't there, but a video camera caught it. Now's the time to tell us, because I don't think you're any kind of evil person.
No.
And I feel like you are going to tell us the truth. I do believe that. I do believe you're going to tell us the truth, because I believe that you do have a conscience.
Slowly but gradually, he started confessing.
I mean, she was upset.
Yeah.
She tried to slap me. I slapped her. I grabbed her around her waist and said, "Where are you going? Why are you hitting me?"
He admitted to using a knife on Savahanna, revealing a troubling encounter where they had a heated argument and he attacked her. The detectives had succeeded in breaking down Lee's facade, but the chilling details of his confession were far from over.
Right? Some people make mistakes. It's what you do afterwards.
Lee revealed that the incident had occurred in July, and he attempted to justify his actions by claiming that Savahanna had been hitting him. He mentioned that she wanted to leave the car, but he had prevented her from doing so.
Squeezed her hard.
You squeezed her around her neck or around her neck with your hands?
She
had
her hands around mine.
Okay.
The admission sent shockwaves through the interrogation room, and the detectives realized that they were dealing with a gruesome crime. It was no longer a disappearance, it was a murder. The investigators continued pressing Lee for more details about the crime. Under increasing pressure, he reluctantly revealed the location where he had disposed of her lifeless body.
If I got a map printed out of that, you think you could just show me that? Okay. It's on the west side from Club du Clay and Longchamp. Okay. And did you? You're great. Thank you. Let's get this over with, and let's find her. Let's let her pants.
When did you put her there?
I dug a hole.
Okay.
I put her there.
Okay.
And then I don't know why I thought it would help.
Mm-hmm.
You know, starting a bonfire.
Okay.
It did.
Okay.
With this information, the detectives immediately launched a search operation, and it wasn't long before they discovered poor Savahanna's remains.
Rodarte admitted to killing Gold and led them to this marshy area right here behind me where a JSO dive team found her body. This lake is 8.5 miles away from where Gold's car was found with her belongings still inside on Wednesday. Police say
It was a heartbreaking discovery, but at least it brought closure to the grieving family. Lee's initial belief that he could outsmart the detectives was a grave mistake. His confession, backed by the compelling evidence from security cameras and forensic analysis, sealed his fate. Lee was charged with the murder of Savahanna, and the wheels of justice began to turn. The trial? Lee's trial was intense and dramatic. His defense team attempted to challenge the evidence against him, despite his own confession, but they faced an uphill battle. The prosecution had a solid case against him. Lee was finally found guilty of first-degree murder and received a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Savahanna's family finally got some peace and justice. After this fiasco, people in the community also came together to talk about domestic abuse and wanted others to ask for help if they needed it. Savahanna's case is a tragic one, but it sheds light on how important it is to stop the cycle of silence and violence. What are your thoughts on this case? Share them in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.